very strange that I have a large nose, and I'll tell you why.
I guess you're privileged to have a big nose then, because you don't live in harsh conditions.
The habanero one? Holy fuck, dude. You know, maybe I've been treating this bike as some sort of parkour bike when really it's just a...
I once came face to face with a wild rhinoceros. That was pretty crazy.
I got stung by a bee once.
Welcome back to another episode of Burning Boat Business. Here we are. We actually recorded an episode just yesterday.
We did.
Everything went wrong.
Everything.
Like
it didn't go that wrong.
It was just a bit of a weird episode. So we decided let's record it again. We had different camera mic set up.
Yeah.
That went fine though. I think I haven't actually checked those files, but
I didn't check either.
It's good to be back with the original gear.
Right. To the audience, nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed, but we tried to record one yesterday with lav mics and stuff.
Yeah.
Because we forgot some. Anyways,
I forgot. It was my fault.
It's all good.
I'm sorry.
We're back today. There's a little bit of an announcement. I think that was the main reason why we decided to record something again, because I basically went off the rails and just told my whole life story, and afterwards I was like, you know what, maybe I'm not ready to talk about all those things just yet. Basically, my girlfriend is pregnant. Phoebe is pregnant. Woo! Jesus. So, yeah.
Oh, don't be jealous.
That's the big news.
Come here. That's me.
Her
ego is...
thought I had to talk about it just briefly on the podcast.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm going to get into every little single thing.
We don't need to know everything.
I'm super excited. You know.
I know.
Everything's going really well. Everything's as it should be. She's healthy. The baby's healthy. 3 months pregnant.
3 months pregnant.
Which is like a milestone.
Okay.
Everything's perfect.
No turning back now.
No turning back now. That's good. No, yeah, it's a pretty crazy time. Everything's moving so insanely quickly. It feels like the other day that it was like, oh my God, she's pregnant. And now it's 3 months.
Oh my God.
There's only 9 months, man.
Yeah.
It's very soon.
Yeah.
I think it's evolutionarily speaking, it's perfect that it's 9 months because it gives you time to mentally prepare.
Yeah.
Obviously I get that it has to grow and everything, but can you imagine what it would be like if pregnancy lasted a day?
Yeah, it would be a lot more abortions probably, because it wouldn't be that big of a deal. It'd be we can just...
People would have a lot less sex as well, because it'd be if
Yeah.
something goes wrong, we're not
God.
ready. Boom, tomorrow, here it
Could
is.
you imagine a one-night stand and then you wake up and
I think everyone would be a lot more cautious. Everything
Yeah.
would just be... Maybe it'd be a good thing.
It is.
I don't know.
What is it that... Somebody told me about that one. That's 9 months, obviously, for a reason. Because some animals, a deer will drop out and it can walk.
Yeah. That's crazy.
But I think they're in there for longer as well.
I
Don't
don't
quote
know.
me on that.
I don't know.
Don't quote me on that.
Elephants are pregnant for I want to say 14 months or 15
Yeah,
months or
something
something,
like that.
a year and a half.
Yeah. I think that would be interesting if when do babies start walking?
Oh, I don't know.
Huh. How much longer would that take? Half a
I
year?
want to say a year.
Year?
I don't know, man.
That would be...
See, this is the kind of stuff I don't know much about.
Yeah.
Yet. I'm sure I will.
I mean, just imagine in nature, there's some animals, boom, there's the baby. Okay, bye.
And they just are ready to go.
Okay, bye.
Ready to hunt for themselves,
Yeah.
fend for themselves. And human babies come out and they just can't do anything.
They can't do shit.
But the reason is that our brains are so much bigger than other mammals.
Right.
That we have to come out earlier.
We're
Otherwise,
soft
it'll
still.
kill the mother.
Yeah.
And then they have to continue to develop outside of the womb.
Right.
So that's why.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I remember reading about that in Sapiens, a brief history of humankind, where there's a shift from when our heads started getting significantly bigger, and then we started having to
That
give
makes a lot of
birth
sense.
earlier.
I know that the brain is wrinkled so that you have more surface area. So instead of the brain getting bigger, it just couldn't get any more bigger, so it started to fold into itself.
I didn't know that.
That's cool.
I mean, I knew about the surface.
Because
I didn't
it's
know
just
that it
that-
was something that it just decided to.
With that neocortex thing is what makes us human, separates us from the rest of the mammals.
In
So
what way?
I think you have,
consciousness.
Yeah, I think you have your reptilian
Self-aware.
brain, and then around that you kind of have your mammalian and then you kind of have the human part, which is just the super thin, outer cortex of your.
Makes a huge difference. I mean,
Yeah.
we're only like one chromosome away from a chimpanzee.
I don't know, but that sounds about right.
We're like one. We have one different
Yeah.
chromosome than a
Yeah.
chimpanzee, but like look at how different we are. Imagine
Sometimes
if there's an alien race that is just one chromosome different than us.
yeah.
How significant that would be.
Yeah.
Or imagine if there were like 10.
Yeah, it really is crazy.
Anyways, I think that this whole pregnancy thing and like I'm gonna be a dad and stuff has made me think a little bit more about like, I mean, I think about the business nonstop,
Right.
obviously,
Right.
but it made me reevaluate, like, are we actually doing the right thing? Are we doing what we want to do?
Yeah.
And I think we talked about it a little bit yesterday. And I think that
Yeah.
was the thing that I want to really talk about today.
Okay.
It's
Well, let me
like-
just say, I don't want it to go lost that I'm totally happy because we spoke so much about it yesterday. I think it's
know.
hard to remember.
Yeah. No,
Like,
and of
just
course,
to hit certain
yeah,
points.
we know.
I just want to say, obviously, I'm super happy for you guys. If anyone's wondering what my opinion about it is, I'm nothing but happy.
Yeah,
and
Taylor's
excited
known
and-
for like two months.
Yeah, I've
almost.
known for a while.
He had a great reaction. I actually filmed it, and a part of like why I want to like not get into like all these details is I think I also want to do some kind of film about it.
Right.
And I've been filming some stuff
We've
along
been
the way,
talking
and I'm
about
like,
that,
I want to like maybe keep it a little more secret.
Yeah, sneaky
Like,
to film me like that. What if I had been like, oh fuck, oh no,
Well, then I would have it.
you guys want me to take you to the abortion clinic? And you're like, no, we're keeping it. And I'm like, oh yeah, totally.
Oh God.
Could you imagine?
That actually a lot ran through my head. And I was like, I have no idea how he's gonna react. I was very nervous because I
I feel
knew
like I've dealt with both now. I've had friends where it's like, it's an oh fuck moment.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
now I think I just read into it right away. And we talked about it a little before. So I was not prepared, but I wasn't blown away.
No,
Although I was a little bit
it's something
blown
I've
away.
talked about, and it's something we've talked about, and then we just decided, yeah, we want to do it. And I very much try and do stuff now. Like if
Yeah.
I have enough reasons, and there's very little holding me back other than I'm not sure. Like all the reasons for it are obviously going to win over, and I'm like,
Right.
I think we should do it now. And it kind of came down to I wanted to see if the business was going to actually start making just a little money
Yeah.
at all, because it's
Yeah.
all hypothetical until
Yeah.
you get your first job, you get your first paycheck, and it's like, okay, at least one person out there thinks we're worthy,
Right.
and that it's now a real business.
We've got a little bit of validation.
So I was like, all right, first paycheck, let's do it.
Let's
And it
freaking-
happened on the first try.
Yeah.
So you gotta don't go down the route of saying, well, the chance of it happening the first time. Like people are trying to get pregnant for years. You know, like what are the
Yeah.
chances it'll happen the first? You gotta be ready for it to happen.
And I'm
the
glad
first
you're
try.
speaking out, for the hole-in-oneers, because I'm sure there's other people out there, right, who are the same. And all you hear, is usually when people have issues with pregnancy.
Yeah.
You got to support the people who also are like,
No
oh, that should
issues
happen
at all.
right away.
Let's
And
not-
that was a
let's
little bit
not-
crazy.
What's the word? Jinx this, because everything's going so perfectly.
Okay.
I hope everything will be great.
Yeah.
No, but back to the business,
Yeah.
because that's ultimately what this podcast is about.
Right.
What I really started thinking about, and I think we both kind of had been thinking about it separately. Basically, you've just moved back in. Let's clarify what that means.
Oh, yeah.
For the past 2 weeks, roughly.
Right. Me, Mads, and Phoebe have decided on some sort of three-way relationship. So I've moved back into the
Right,
apartment.
that's what we're-
and we're having a weird polygamous
We're
marriage situation going on. I'm joking.
Yeah.
I was working from home and my computer was at home for the past 3
Feels-
weeks.
No, not that long.
Maybe
no,
2 weeks.
No, wait, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Which feels like a long time
Feels
when
like a
we're
lifetime.
apart. I mean, I miss you a lot.
I feel like I've grown up. I'm an old man.
I don't like to be in that room by myself. I always look over, and you know what? I feel ashamed if I leave like a little bit of a mess over there. Like
That's my fucking spot.
I think I'm like I can't.
That's bullshit
like,
though.
that's
Because
where
I went in there and there was
It's a
stuff
mess
all over
and
there.
I feel like shit.
It was very lonely. It was very hard. I did not get a lot of work
It's so hard
done.
to work separately.
Yeah.
We just need to be together.
I think so.
And so we decided to be together.
Platonically together, right?
So you moved back in.
I moved back in. I'm still living at my own place though.
But like a few things came up and it was like, I mean, we've mentioned on the podcast before that we're planning on the month of December to work on our feature-length films.
Yeah.
And that we have to continuously remind ourselves that that's what we want to do.
Right.
We're not trying to build a career in promotional video making
No.
or commercials
No.
or music videos.
Nope.
That's not what we want to do.
No.
But that's what we're doing now, and that's what we're kind of having to focus on because we need to pay the bills. I don't know how many times we go over this thing, but let's go over it again.
Okay.
And it's so incredibly difficult to keep reminding yourself that that's what's our livelihood right now, but you got to think a little more long term than just right now, even just this year. You know, like what do we actually want to be doing? And that is making feature-length films. You have a film that you filmed that we still haven't edited.
Yeah.
And we've talked about editing it so many times, and we're planning to. It's not like it's not, but it's like we got to prioritize it.
Right.
And we're in a situation where we can do that. We've hustled our butts off and now have the opportunity to pull back on that a little bit and bring in the feature-length films.
Right.
It's like,
and to clarify, people might say, I think that's the hard thing, is that people might be like, well, that's stupid. You guys should just continue to do the thing that makes you money. But it's like, that's a little bit of a trap as well.
It's a massive trap.
If you do that for too long, then of course it's going to be even that much harder to separate yourself and be like, wait, well, the original intention of this is building blocks, right? Well, we do this because that's kind of the closest thing we can do right now to make money. And then we'll graduate to the next step and to the next step until we're where we actually want to be.
And what was the original plan? What was their original, like what originally was it that we wanted to do?
Feature films.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not like we've forgotten that, but it's also like it gets very easy to justify waiting and doing something else because it's immediately rewarding. Like literally.
Well, it's not that. I mean, I would much prefer to work on my feature film 24/7. It's just that we also have to make money. We also have to, and I also don't want to say that I don't enjoy the commercial stuff. I absolutely love doing it because it's the closest I've ever gotten to like pure creativity and getting paid for it. Yeah. Even though there are still pretty rigid structures at times and rules we have to follow, and that's fine. But again, I don't want to shit on that, but it's just we just want to do something else. It's not better or worse. It's just separate goals.
Yeah, but there is something though where it's like I almost catch myself feeling a little like, why are you so hung up on these small, stupid little videos that you're making that are making us money?
Oh yeah,
like the small details about it that are stressing me out, and I'm like figuring out how to do this little thing and that little thing, and I'm not spending any time thinking about what's actually important, what we actually want to do.
Right. But it all fits it all fits together, I think. Because that same meticulousness or wanting something to be good and wanting people to like it obviously just extends a little bit to everything you do.
Of course.
If I tried to write a book, which would be wouldn't recommend that I do that, but if I tried to do that, I would be the exact same crazy person.
Yeah, we choose to do what we do, and we want to do it good. Do it well, rather. Yeah. But it's still like I think some people will definitely look at, we decided to really give starting our own business a go, and that being like, that's a lot of risk involved. That's like something really exciting about that. But then it's like, once we've done that, you got to keep doing that. You got to keep kind of pushing for that. And it's not like you risk it once and you start the company and that's it.
No.
You kind of got to keep doing that.
Yeah.
Keep risking it. It's so easy to just say like, well, this is going so well. Like we're making like actually like an okay amount of money.
Yeah.
And it seems like it keeps happening.
Yeah.
Like every time we do a job, we get another one. It's like we keep doing this.
Yeah.
And it could keep getting paid more.
Yeah.
And like you were talking about a trap, and like suddenly it's like there's a lot of money involved, and we're maybe making commercials, and we're
Right.
and that's obviously like a lot of directors have gone down that route and did commercials first and then went into feature-length films. Like, I'm not saying that's not a way to go, but it's also like,
It's very difficult.
yeah, especially when we have like a film that's already
Yeah,
there.
it's already-
Let's
Yeah.
like that is what will get us closer to where we want to go in every way,
yeah.
even if it's a shitty film, which
No.
it's not.
I mean, it will be seen, but I think it's also the idea of like compound interest, and the sooner we can make decisions, massive risky decisions as a company, the more we will be rewarded in the future. Right?
Yeah,
So
you
like
talked about that. That's so
now
interesting.
trying to do feature films and trying to get them out as fast as possible. The reason for that is that we're still super young, so we can still take it. I can survive for 3 years until I get my second feature film. It won't bum me out because I know it's a massive step to go from 1 to 2, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Which in my early 20s is fine.
Yeah.
But that would suddenly be much more difficult for me probably if I'm in my late 30s and I'm like, fuck, I want to get blah, blah, blah. Now there's all this other pressure and blah, blah, blah. So it's almost like, well, why wouldn't we do it now?
Mm-hmm.
If that's really what we want to do. If we have a clear idea, well, it's like, yeah, we have all the materials. Yeah, it's uncomfortable. We have to make some decisions, like not working in December.
Yeah,
But it's worth it.
But then I'm obviously in a different boat now. I am kind of in a way have more responsibilities now with
Yeah.
a relationship
Yeah.
that I'm in and a baby that's coming.
Yeah.
Literally, I can't say the same thing that you just said, which is I can just like I can deal with that in my early 20s. Like
That's true. That's very different.
But I've been thinking about it so much, and I believe so strongly that it's like having a kid, having a family should not at all make you not do what you want to do and try as hard as you can to do that. Like, we will figure it out.
Yeah.
All
And I
those things will fall in place. But like you said, if you don't start now, like, when is a good time to start?
But there's never a good time.
Now
Yeah.
is the answer.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
If anything, it just makes everything more, there's even more passion involved for me personally.
Yeah.
Like, it just gets me more excited. It's like, I want to
And you had made a
do
good
what I
point.
want to do.
Yeah, you made a good point yesterday that you said that, you don't want to shape your kid into anything, but you do want to lead by example.
Yeah.
And like, if you don't do that, of course your kid's not gonna.
Yeah, if I take a compromise and say, "Well, I had you, so I had
Right.
to start focusing on making money because I need to support you and my family, and
Right.
that's why I'm now doing commercials." But you should follow your dreams and
Right.
not think about the money.
Right.
No, they're gonna see what I did, and most likely follow in those footsteps. So I feel very obliged and excited to be that kind of example in whatever way, and just always try and do the right thing.
Yeah.
Which is so.
It is hard, but
It's
I also
difficult.
don't want people to think we're stupid. The company is still going. We're still doing commercial things. It's just
Yeah.
that we're trying to be aware and say, look,
Let's
at
do,
a certain point, we have to make time for these.
let's do it the other way around. Let's do the feature-length films first,
Yeah.
and then figure out how to keep doing that.
Right, and it does fit naturally, and December is just kind of a month where, especially in Denmark, I just don't imagine that much is going on. We have some contracts that got pushed to spring now, for example,
Yeah.
because it just gets too dark. You don't have enough light. And it's just kind of the perfect timing.
It is.
If in July you had said, let's take a month off, I'd probably been like, you know what, no, now is kind of the perfect time to make our money. But December, it just feels like we've got 3 solid weeks together.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
but I also think it's a good way to start exercising like a principle when it is a good time. Like, things are lining up. It makes sense to do that.
Yeah.
As a one-off, but on a bigger picture, I think changing the way we think about it a little bit so that is the priority
I think, and I
is
think,
the right thing to do. And it's perfect to start when it's now, when it makes sense and everything feels good and
Yeah,
it's not
exactly.
going to be difficult. But like, that really,
it's hard because it's the same with, we kept on saying, oh, we want to climb a mountain. We want to climb a mountain.
oh my God.
And it's just never going to happen unless
You
finally
just-
someone puts their foot down and it's like, hey, wait a minute. I'm here for New Year's. Fuck celebrating New Year's. I mean, we're still going to celebrate in the end now. But at the beginning, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. And I'm going to leave for 3 days and climb a mountain with you. And then suddenly it was like, yeah, why? You just got to set it up.
You just gotta decide that you're gonna do it. You gotta
Yeah.
put it into words. You gotta just,
It's so
Make
easy
it happen.
to never have it happen.
and then just so basically we've decided to go on a climbing trip right
Yeah.
before New Year's. And
Yeah.
like we're so excited about it.
Yeah.
Like more excited than like anything else. And just the thought of that being something that's now going to happen, I'm immediately like in that world. It's not like it's all I can think about, but I'm like
Right.
starting to plan for it and thinking about, okay, well, which mountains should we climb, or
Right.
like what do I need to read up on to make sure we're safe? And I'm just getting back into that, and it's like one little thing just
It is, and
leads to another thing, leads to another thing, and before you know it,
Yeah.
we're like, it's a thing we do all the time, and it just becomes part
Yeah.
of what we do, and it's what we want to do.
and more it just becomes like, if you trust yourself enough that you can just say something and then you kind of know that you're gonna do it, it suddenly becomes very like,
It's very scary, but it's like,
yeah, it's good
also
and scary at the
very,
same
like,
time, right?
ooh.
So you want to really think things through before you say you're gonna do something. But it's really, you're never gonna sit down, at least personally, and feel like, oh my God, it's the perfect moment for me to say I'm shooting my film in 2 months. Never gonna happen. What I gotta do is like, guys, we're shooting in April. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We got this much time till that happens, and like there's probably a better time to shoot it where it's gonna be sunnier or the weather's better. But it's like that's just how it works in the schedule,
Yeah.
and it fucking works out. Like somehow you just by saying it, setting a date.
It's the same thing with the mountain. It's like immediately I watched.
Now
a
we can
couple-
start planning. Now we don't have to be like, when are we gonna do this?
Yeah.
When are we gonna?
But I started watching a couple of videos of people climbing the mountains that I was thinking might be
Yeah.
a good suit for what we want to try and push.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that looks really scary. Like, do we have the right gear?
Yeah.
Do we like, and it starts to bring up all these like fears and doubts. It's just so good though. It's so healthy to feel like that
Yeah.
and to deal with that and to figure like problem solve and figure it out.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with everything. Like
I'm very
you,
excited.
you decide and then you realize why you weren't deciding because now it's fucking scary.
Yeah.
Because everything's happening and then you figure it out.
Yeah. I think there's an aversion to like the whole mountain climbing thing, right? There's definitely stress involved in trying to organize something.
For sure. There's a lot involved.
Right. But it's definitely, I don't know why I'm saying this, but I think it's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Good point, Taylor.
I think it's worth it.
I think it's worth it.
It's stressful to plan, but
Wow.
in the end, it's worth it.
Fucking Sherlock Holmes, Einstein over here.
But, oh yeah, like after just having that conversation yesterday, I'm just very excited about December.
Good. I think we were both on the same page, like unspoken.
That's what happens when you're apart.
Yeah. It's weird. It's weird because you said we recorded the podcast basically, and I don't want to get into too much detail, but basically we left and it was just kind of like it's a lot of questions in the air and just certain things we had talked about after the podcast that was like just putting us kind of in a bad mood, putting me in a bad mood. And then I got in my own
I
head.
didn't know why.
Me neither. Like
Yeah.
at first. And then I walked outside and it was raining. And I was like, oh my God. Yeah, I'm like looking up. I'm standing there for like 2 minutes. And then you said you went on a run.
I went out for a run in the rain. We were like, okay, let's not go climbing because it's raining.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're going to get wet.
Yeah.
And we both just needed to like, just think things through a little
That's
bit.
the thing. You just need a little bit of.
Until we
like-
both decided to spend our time in the rain.
Yeah, I walked home. I had my bike, but I just ended up getting a beer at the grocery store and sipping it as I'm walking my bike home.
And I ran along the coast in the rain.
Yeah. But then we called. As soon as I got home, you must have finished your run or whatever. And called and I was like, totally fine.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I don't even know what it. So what? Because there's definitely something where it's like we felt like we didn't know necessarily what the other person was thinking, and we were maybe unsure that they were on the same page. But we
Yeah.
felt frustrated with how something was going, and then it was like we both just kind of like, let's work on the feature-length films.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah. I think it was, and we can cut this out if it's too like personal, but I think it was as soon as we sort of started talking, and I don't know who it came from. I think probably a little bit of both of us.
Yeah.
The idea that we would work on our separate feature films
Yeah.
for the month of December.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, it just slowly got in my head, and I was like, why are we doing that? That's so stupid. Like, we
Yeah.
know we work better together.
Yeah.
We like keep each other accountable to working full days.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you've worked on the film? Why wouldn't I want you to edit the film?
Yeah.
And I was thinking, well, if he's not going to say he doesn't want to edit the film, I don't want to pressure him into feeling like he's got to edit the film. if he wants to write his own film. And then
Yeah.
what you were saying yesterday is like, well, of course I want to work on your film, but I didn't want to
Yeah.
force myself onto your film
Yeah, yeah.
because you never asked me to. And it was like we were just saying the same shit. It's just
Yeah,
nobody
like all of a
sat down
sudden
and
it was like,
why aren't we working
oh,
on the
we're
same
both
shit?
saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know why it got into my head that I wasn't sure if you wanted me to work on the film or if
It's
you
just-
just wanted to do it all yourself or like not like an ego thing, but just like you wanted. I don't know. I hadn't really thought of it, and I just didn't want to.
It kind of just
Say-
came up yesterday, and then I was like,
Same
yeah,
thing.
Of course.
I didn't want to ask if I could work on it.
Yeah.
Because then you'd feel like you had to say yes, of course. So, yeah.
It's just we figured it all out. I feel way better. I feel like it's just we lost it for a couple days. We didn't lose anything. I'm just saying. It felt like a little floaty, and now I feel like so focused, so like, okay, we've got the same, we're same vision going again.
Ooh, so let's talk about that. What are we going to do?
For those 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. Dude, I say we fucking edit the shit out of a rough cut.
We're going to focus 100% on your film.
Yeah.
Boris and Johan is
Yeah.
getting edited in the month of December.
Yeah. Because it's all synced. I can order the photos. God, it's just a money thing. I don't even want to talk about that, but
How much is it?
it's like 2,000 kroner. Again, I'll do it. I just need to, in my mind,
Dude.
again, I said I need to prioritize sort of what do I need 100%? Because there's a lot of things that I want, and I just want to separate that from like, what do I need? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So there's, yeah. So I think that's definitely just a need. It's like, sorry.
Get the photos.
I would rather not eat for 2 days for whatever, or eat shit for beans and rice, and get those photos.
Get those photos. So basically, yeah, I think it's going to make a massive difference.
course.
Especially if we're both doing it.
And I spent so
And
much
this is going to be
fucking
everything
time,
we're
yeah.
going to do.
I'd rather just give you a scene and be like, here's all the photos for the scene. Here's this, here's that.
But
Let's
also
fucking
just
go.
all the way it's been filmed. There's so much content that isn't a scene.
Yeah.
Just stuff while we're walking
Yeah.
from location to location in New
Yeah.
Different random little bits.
There's stuff that's
I
written.
need
that's
to
just random
see
little
it.
bits. Yeah.
I need to see it. So that I can, like, if you say, okay, edit this scene, I want to know what else there is that I can
Of course.
take.
Of course.
So I think it's absolutely essential that you get those photos.
So definitely. And then I said we do that for 3 weeks, which would hopefully mean a rough cut.
And what do you mean? Like, we're going to sit next to each other,
Yeah.
side by side,
Yeah.
working on the same thing or working in separate parts?
I think we'll figure it out. I don't know what works better.
Okay.
I think we can kind of see what works,
Mm-hmm.
but probably, yeah.
How do you wanna
Everybody kind of
start?
tackles different scenes,
Yeah.
but then we'll swap them around if somebody gets stuck or,
That's good.
yeah.
That's good.
And then hopefully that would mean by the 21st of December, I could send it off to my brother and be like, okay, start sound designing, sound mixing, and I'll get that back. And then the next time we find some time, obviously I would say either we work on your script and your film and we designate that time for that, or we would then, depend how long the sound mix takes, then take it into fine cut and then final cut, obviously.
And then
'Cause in my head, I'm a little bit like festival submission,
Yeah.
I believe, is in like February or March. It'd be nice to be able to submit for end of summer.
Yeah. And then Burning Boat has
A film out.
exactly a feature-length
Yeah.
film, which is what we say we want to do. And it's
Yeah.
like, we don't know what will come of Boris and Johan.
Yeah.
But like, it is worth seeing.
It's, again, the idea of compound interest is that like it could be $200 that you put in your bank account. That, over time, it's going to be very hard to separate. Well, what did that film do for us?
Yeah.
Well, maybe it got us the budget for the second film. Maybe it got us, maybe just one person saw it and that was the one person we needed who was like, oh, you guys have actually done a feature film before. Be interesting to see what you guys could do with more money. Or, I think there's so many things that can come from it that would be hard to pin down to that first sort of thing.
And that's what makes it difficult to prioritize, because it's
Right.
not like this is what's going to come of it.
Right. And even like, some people ask about the film and stuff and what will happen with it and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, it's very hard to explain that even if it doesn't succeed
Yeah.
in a financial sense, still a massive success.
Yeah.
In every other sense.
But there is also a fear of like, okay, well, if we're going to prioritize this and not work on stuff that we know is going to make us money and directly get us something,
Yeah.
like there's a chance that it won't lead to anything.
Yeah.
And it's like you got to be willing to take that risk.
But
That's
I would
what
also
I meant by
argue,
like constantly you got to be risking.
Yeah, I would argue that just us being on set for that month, then that was worth it.
Even
you
if
know?
we don't, even if this film burned up and we never saw
Yeah.
it again, 100% worth it.
Exactly. So it's just so many things that you can't put. It's very hard to explain. You know, like
Quantify or
just doing it one like that. You know, off of. I would argue if we hadn't done your film for those 7 days,
Yeah.
I would have been a lot less prepared for my film.
yeah.
And everything kind of weirdly works
And if
together.
I hadn't done my
Yeah.
little promo video, then we wouldn't have
Yeah.
done it. And if I hadn't,
It's just like, well, how far back do you go? You know,
oh, we're getting into
sperm and the egg,
yeah.
contraception.
But like going off of that, I feel like there's the opportunity to now it's gonna sound like I'm just like taking it too far and we should like do more films. But what I want to say is that there's the opportunity for us, like we're going on this climbing trip.
Yeah.
Let's make a short film out of it.
100%.
Like I'm training for this Ironman, I'm having a baby, I want to do a short documentary about that because I think
Yeah.
I have some stuff I want to say
Yeah.
that I don't want to do. I want to do it properly.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure what that is yet.
Yeah.
But like, let's do that too.
Yeah.
It doesn't really need that much effort, but it's like,
No.
it's again, it's like, it's hard to make that something that needs to be prioritized because there's no immediate benefit.
Right.
But it's like,
But
it's something
there
I
is.
want to do, and it's something I want to do, and it's something not like, it's not that I want to do. Running is something I want to do. Climbing is something we want to do. Like, there's a reason behind all of it.
Yeah.
And we should just go for it
Yeah.
and keep doing that.
Yeah. Let's freaking go. Shut off this podcast right now and freaking film a film.
Oh, we're about to go like do the most boring.
Yeah.
We're just-
I'm still excited. I'm just excited to be here.
yeah, it does feel like something's happening
I'm like, oh, thank God.
finally. But maybe another thing. Now that when we're talking about films and documentaries,
Yeah.
and like that's what we want to do, so we should do as much of it as possible.
Mhm.
There's still the behind the scenes documentary
Yeah.
for Boris and Johan.
Very aware.
That, oh man, there's so much good content there.
It's interesting. It'll be interesting to see what that turns into. Because I'm not 100% sure if that works by itself, because it's just a crazy version of me kind of sitting like this for 60 minutes. and
Yeah.
just thinking.
But you still haven't seen like you've only
No,
seen
I've
like
only
the tip of the
seen
iceberg of what
the
I
trailer
filmed.
you cut and stuff.
And there's so much more than that.
Yeah. I'd be curious. Maybe there's even a way to weirdly tie two things together, or
Like how? Like what do you mean? What two
I
things?
just start throwing ideas. Like if you're saying a documentary about the running and the baby and some weird transition, or like the next time we shoot a film, then we try to put those two together, or I don't know. I feel like in my head I have these grand ideas of like, well, over the course of 5 years, cutting all that into a documentary, for example, would just be this epic, like,
Yeah, I
You
thought
know?
that too. But then I'm also like, what if they're good enough by themselves, and that's what we should do, because then we're putting
Yeah.
all our eggs into one film.
there's so many. I think we should cut it and then we should see. But I also find it fascinating. I mean, to me, it's the most interesting thing to watch. What's that guy's name? That Danish director and his wife did a documentary on him. It's like an hour long. It's not a full feature. It's kind of an hour long thing that you can buy on iTunes.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just so fucking fascinating.
The main difference is
The
that
guy who
that,
filmed There Will Be Blood. Or
that
directed it.
film has successful. It's been
Yeah,
successful.
yeah.
He's a successful film
Yeah,
director.
yeah.
And like, it's interesting to see behind the scenes of that person, because
Right.
they've kind of made it or whatever.
Right.
And like, there's something to be learned.
Right.
So we were talking about, well, let's save the behind the scenes footage and use it for something when we can kind of like people would be interested to see, well, how did they make that?
Yeah.
Or where did these guys start from, or like
Right.
what's going on, because they'd be like, you need people to be asking that question before you give them the film. Kind of, if you just give them this behind the scenes film without anyone having asked like to know more,
Right.
it's like, well, I don't know if people would necessarily find it interesting.
It's so hard to
It
say.
depends on what it's about, and
Yeah.
I think it's been so long since I've looked at the footage.
Me too,
But at
I'm
the
totally
time,
just-
I was very much like, I wanted to capture the like mindset of just completely sinking into a project, and literally that is the only thing that matters. Literally,
Yeah.
everything else, just you can't even think of it. And that, I think, is universal. And
Yeah.
I don't think it matters if the film's good or not.
No.
As in the film that I made the behind the scenes of.
the f-
Like if Boris and Johan sucks, I
Yeah.
still think the behind the scenes of how you made that film
would be interesting.
is interesting, because
Yeah.
it's not about Boris and Johan.
No.
It's yeah.
It's I would be curious to see some more of that now that you mention it. But again, I don't think
have a
I don't
look.
think that would actually be even. I don't think we know how that story ends until we
No.
submit Boris and Johan
No.
and find out what.
I'm
happens.
tempted. Ooh. Oh god. So we're doing it in December. We're editing this thing.
Yeah.
Why don't I do the same fucking thing? That's a good idea.
That's a good idea. That's a. Really
I
good
double
idea.
up and I just have the camera, and I'm just aware that I'm documenting the behind the scenes of the editing process,
That's good.
and seeing if we can like get back into that mindset of like living and breathing Boris and Johan, and like
I'm very curious because
Let's
I also
get-
feel
let's-
very different as a person. Yeah, I know it's only been like.
let's get back there.
Yeah. No, I don't want to go. I just don't think. I think I will go back there, but I think I'll be very different. I would imagine.
Here's an idea. The stuff like when we were getting ready to shoot Boris and Johan in New York, we were
Yeah.
talking about like, okay, like let's try, and if we have free time, let's go out and be Boris.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
let's go
yeah.
out and follow
Yeah,
people
yeah, yeah,
with
yeah.
the camera and like follow them home
Yeah,
and
yeah,
see
yeah.
what it feels like and get into the mind of this
Yeah,
character
yeah.
and like really live it. Like, let's do that. Let's ride the train at night with
I'm
our
very
camera
down.
and like get real weird so that we can make something like just bring it up a notch and get back into that. I don't actually mean
goes-
I don't actually mean that, but you
No,
know
no,
what,
no.
you get what I mean, right?
Yeah, and it goes surprisingly quickly. Like that one time where I worked on the film for I think 3 or 4 days straight,
Mm-hmm.
and bang, right back in it.
I mean, just thinking about it.
Yeah.
I already feel like
Yeah,
I
because
can
it's-
like
there's so much
process the
thought.
scenes, and I can go through it, and I remember how I filmed that in a specific way
Yeah.
because I wanted to feel like
Yeah,
he was a little bit more confident when he was walking, so I was like filming it differently, like, but no one else is gonna fucking know that. And like, it's such a weird job,
it is.
filmmaking.
It's such a weird job.
It was such a weird job, specifically that one, because I felt like I was acting in it because I was
Yeah.
the cameraman, but the character is filming.
Yeah, for the people who don't know, it's basically it's found footage, which means you almost never see the main character, which means
Yeah.
like Mads film a lot of the film as the main character.
Yeah,
Which is it is acting.
definitely.
Yeah.
And I'd get all like pumped up for scenes and like, but I refused to do any like lines to give to the other actor.
Yeah.
So it would always be like, if there was anything where there was dialogue between the two, I would then give the camera to the guy actually playing Boris.
Yeah.
And talk him through how to film it
Yeah.
like Boris.
Yeah.
And like, it was like we were both Boris in a weird way. And I felt very like
So crazy.
connected to that character while we were doing it. But you know what I mean? Like, let's really make.
Let's go deep.
Yeah.
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 Got a.
Uh-huh. I'm ready. Well, what day is it today? What do we got?
We don't need to wait until the 1st of December, first of all.
No, we don't. We
I
just need to
do
finish.
like the idea though of like that's what we're aiming for.
Yeah.
But let's like if we can speed it up and get to it quicker.
We have a couple projects we need to finish.
Yeah. Some
and
stuff
then
we need to
we'll be
polish
good.
off and send
Yeah.
off to clients.
Yeah. And some stuff we just need to edit. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that. Those are the things I wanted to talk about on this podcast. Like, I think you were saying what would be really interesting to talk about is like, what do you see this company being
in the future?
Yeah, I think it's not. I think we both know that.
Yeah.
But we haven't talked about it in a while because it's become so focused on the now, which is totally relevant and makes sense. And there's like that's what we should be doing. But maybe let's just like reconnect with that real quick.
With what the company is in the future.
Like, what is it we see ourselves doing? And I don't know. What's an appropriate amount of years in the future that doesn't sound like I'm a psychopath?
I don't know. What do we say? 15, 20 years?
Yeah. Okay. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking 15.
I mean, do you have any thoughts on it? So I don't have to just...
I think we've... What one of the things that's excited me the most is the idea of like we're a production company that does a bunch of other things as well, but that those things are all meant to give us a reason to make more films. Like, to me, climbing is something that I like, but I see myself making films about it in some way.
Yeah.
And it's almost like everything's almost research.
Yeah.
If you get down to it.
Yeah.
And like,
I think that's with any art is the issue of, well, you're sitting in a room all day working on your craft, but then the whole thing you want to say is out there, obviously. So you got to force yourself to
go out and
live
some
life
stuff,
and get these experiences.
Yeah.
So you have something to talk about.
Yeah, 100%.
And then it's a weird balance.
That it's definitely a film production company, and that we are alternating working on films, and that we're very much involved with each other's films. Potentially, like you said yesterday, like, you know, maybe one day we could both direct a film, and I think that would be super interesting. I was like, ooh, that would be so weird to both do that on the same thing, and like, I think something crazy would happen.
I think so too.
That it's all like, that's the goal, to really make some amazing just films.
Yeah, I think that's the only goal. And that's why it's hard for me to think about anything else, because I don't really know what that means. Because it might be, oh, we're in fucking Iceland for 6 months, prepping for whatever and shooting, you know.
Yeah.
Which then when people are like, where are you going to stay in Copenhagen? And I'm like, it's just such a weird question to me, because I'm like, I don't know. I feel like it's further in life, like I could live wherever and I'll just fly out to whatever film. Of course, I'd still want to be close to you and stuff.
Yeah.
Figure that whole thing out. But it's very hard to be like,
well, it's like...
As a Danish company.
It's not.
Yeah, but it's like for the next, foreseeable future it is.
The company's here. The company isn't the stuff.
Yeah,
the company isn't the office. The company is, like, I guess us.
Exactly.
For now.
And we both have weird things that we want to do in life,
but it's all
part of the company.
It is all part of it.
Which is hard to explain, though.
It is hard to explain. And I don't know. I want to be clear that that's like everything I do. Like, even like having a family, having a baby, it's like, it's part of, like, the company's my life.
Yeah.
It's not like one is more than the other. It's all one thing.
Yeah, I totally
really feel like that. And it maybe sounds like I'm crazy when I say that.
No, because I think it's filmmaking is very vulnerable, and you have to like bring a lot of things that are very private out however you like to do that, you know, but it is a very all-inclusive thing, because you're talking, if you have a girlfriend in a film, obviously that's based on some experience.
Yeah.
So a little bit people can read into, like, well, did that happen to you? And like, maybe it didn't, maybe a little bit of it did, maybe it did, and you just don't want to admit it.
Yeah.
And you're like, nah, I just made that up.
Yeah. It's good writing, huh?
Yeah. It's it really is like everything is towards... Nah, I don't want to say everything's towards making movies, because that's not true either.
It's not true. And that's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
It's just that it is above all things what I want to do. Is
Me too.
like I just watched that documentary about The Shining and all these crazy fan theories about how it was made. And there's a part in the
Yeah.
beginning where they talk about how when they saw 2001, it was like it was like a religious experience for them. It was the first time they really were like, wow, this is something great. And it's the same for me. It's that film.
Imagine that shit in 1969. What the fuck?
It's just that it did something so huge for me watching that film and also other films.
Yeah.
That it's just I cannot not do that.
Yeah.
And so everything else in my life is about that too. It's not like it's more important though. It's just it becomes one.
And it just perfectly fits into like it's just like you can make a film about anything, like literally anything you want, and then you can dive into that time, and you can. It's such an interesting. It involves everything. You know, it literally involves like so many of the arts.
It is,
You got
yeah.
music,
I
you
can't,
got performance, you got the camera thing, you got the. It's so much. I don't even know what I'm saying. I just love it so much.
but that's starting a production company adds a bunch of other jobs into it as well.
Yeah.
It's like suddenly it's also business.
Yeah,
So
business.
what we're doing is like it's so many different things.
Doing at the freaking accounting. I'm
It's
sending
perfect.
invoices.
It's perfect.
Yeah, and it's exactly what I hate the most, and what really gets me depressed is when I have to do the same thing every day and nothing changes, even for like a. And I think that's what I absolutely love about the company, and it's like that's why it's also like, what are you going to be doing 20 years? Like, dude, I have no
I
fucking
have no
clue.
idea, but it's gonna be something where I'm like, I don't know if I can do that.
Yeah, I'll feel exactly the same. I'll be yeah. And
I
who
get
knows?
I
I'm
get
curious.
more-
Like
you know,
yeah. Go ahead.
You know, when you wake up in the morning. Have you ever felt like are immediately already stressed out?
Yeah, this morning.
Same.
Yeah.
What is worse? Like feeling that way because of something that you don't know if it'll work out, and it's like making your film.
Yeah.
I think you woke up every morning
Yeah.
fucking about to like throw up because
I
you're so
couldn't- I
nervous
had to,
about
like-
everything that was going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Is that worse than waking up and feeling just kind of like a little tense and stressed out because you're going to go film something at a restaurant and like
Oh yeah.
it's
Is that worse?
You've done it like 5 times, the same thing, but it's just like why do I feel like that?
I think because in a way, you have to go through shit to reach the gold on the other side. And if it ever isn't shit, then it's not really
real.
gold.
It's not real,
No.
right? So it's worth it, obviously.
Yeah. And I'm not saying I dread going to work every day.
No.
It's just there's points at which, like, yeah, it's fucking horrible.
It's like why?
Making a feature film, it can be like the most
No, but that's why it's
humiliating
great.
experience.
It's like I know that I'm not gonna. I think it would be the wrong thing to say. Like the film that I'm writing, there are some scenes in there. Where I'm like, the day that I have to shoot those films, I'm gonna be so fucking nervous. Like I'm not gonna be excited to do it. I'm gonna be so wrapped up in what's going on. Well, ideally, I'd be mindful enough to be able to enjoy it at the same time. That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
But like, it's almost like that's not what I'm after. It's like it's going through it and then coming out the other side.
Yeah.
And having some kind of appreciation for the experience.
Because those are also the films that, I think people watch some movies and think, oh, well, that just came together. And it's like they don't know the shitstorm that went into making, finishing. Finishing something is another whole story. Like, if you just, like, there's these stories about, like, Apocalypse Now and shit, where people are like, that's the best movie of all time, whatever.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like, the stories of that fucking film are just insane.
Yeah.
But that's why I think it's so like
Yeah.
it's just you'd be so proud if you finish that fucking thing.
I think the
And then
best
people-
things
yeah.
are bad things.
Yeah, are difficult.
Difficult.
There's discomfort.
discomfort
Yeah,
involved.
there has to be, because if it was all fun and rainbows, then I don't know. I'm sure there's a saying.
It's like with having a baby. It's like I don't feel super anxious because the worry, the stress, the discomfort of not knowing what's going to happen. Am I going to be a good dad? Am I? How's it going to work? What's going to go?
Yeah.
It's all part of it, and it's what makes me excited about it. And so it very quickly turns into something I'm excited about rather than something I'm.
Yeah.
So when people ask me like, are you worried? I'm like, well, yeah, but no. It's like, this is great.
Yeah.
All
That's
that stuff.
Yeah. That's very interesting. You have to. It's so true. Yeah.
So let's make Boris and Johan.
Do the what?
Let's make Boris and Johan.
Let's fucking. Oh my fucking. I'm so fucking ready. So fucking ready.
Oh, there's gonna be some crazy shit in that film. And then I'm gonna film it as well. That's perfect. That's
good.
so perfect. Because you're right. There's no ending. There is no ending.
And then you film the I guess the next shoot would be like June, or maybe like March festival submission,
whatever.
And then June, it doesn't get picked up, and I kill myself.
That would sell. That would sell.
All right. Is there anything else?
No, because I don't think we've thought about it. I was gonna say like the bet.
Oh,
I want to
shit.
do. I know that you have.
Shit.
Third.
I think
time.
I have decided that I want to do the. Oh, sorry. I gotta reiterate.
We want to do a bet leading up until 1st of January.
Correct.
New Year.
Correct.
From now until then.
Correct.
We want to do something.
Correct.
I'm working out 6 days a week.
You're working out 6 days a week. I was gonna do
6 times a week. 6 times a week.
Sorry,
That's
6
what I wanted
times a
to
week.
specify. 6 days would imply that. Well, what if I work out once in the morning, once in the evening?
Mm-hmm.
That counts as 2.
That's 2 a day.
So 6 times.
That makes sense. Yeah, let me think. I'm juggling between a sober December,
Yeah.
and a no social media December.
Right.
Both of which I think, if I'm being honest, I think the social media is probably, it's not an issue. I think it's such a good thing because I notice it, right? It's these little habits that you have. Mm-hmm. And I feel like if you kind of watch yourself, like I'll do these little things and I'm like, why am I doing that? Like, why am I checking Facebook 3-4 times a day? Right. And it's just, I think it gets in your head. You don't really realize it. You start having the phantom vibrations. Right. And we went to that whole talk about phantom vibrations. And even though I didn't understand anything, I feel like it's in my head and I just want to, it's not a problem. I don't think I'm addicted to it, but I think
it's an important distinction though.
Yeah. I think
it's not that it's an issue that you
don't have to be an addict to discipline yourself.
Mixing
on
things
or,
up is always a good idea. And yeah, the discipline of it is also just such an important thing to exercise.
Especially if I'm trying to focus on something and work on something and not get distracted.
Here are my thoughts
on those two.
Because now that we're doing this thing and we're editing Boris and Johan in December, you were also not drinking when you were filming it.
I know.
And maybe that would help get you into that mindset of like getting into that in that way. And that maybe doing the same thing that you were doing when you were filming might just be a really cool idea.
That would be interesting.
That's immediately what I thought of when you said those two.
Oh, that would be very interesting. Yeah.
Because the
reason I'm hesitant is we're so we're the kings of doing too much, right? Oh, I'm gonna screw just quitting drinking. I'm also gonna do these 5 other things. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna get up early. I'm gonna do 100 push-ups in the morning, and I'm gonna, all this stuff. And I feel like we said in the one podcast, let's show that we've learned from it a little bit.
Yeah,
let's not go fucking nuts. Although I would say maybe drinking and no social media isn't crazy.
No, still just only pick one. I'm saying pick the no drinking thing.
Pick the no drinking.
Yeah.
Over the social media.
Yeah. Because I think that the no drinking, I don't know. It's so hard to compare the like filming in New York and living in that house and everything was about that.
My fear in New York, that why I did that was because I was scared that it would become because you're so stressed all the time.
That's what I'm getting at.
Is you don't want the stress to become related to the alcohol, and then suddenly you can't come home after a shoot and not drink because you're so fucking stressed.
Yeah.
Right. And the point is to you should deal with it rather than
That's kind of what I'm getting at though. That maybe if you did with
maybe.
the editing, it might create enough stress as well that it's almost like I just want to fucking end the day and go and have a beer. Removing that is going to make you deal with the film. And totally relive it and become so.
Maybe I should do, if we're editing for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Maybe I should do 3 weeks of no drinking, and then go a week no social media, which would be 4 weeks December.
I mean, it's up to you. I
gotta say it now.
Those two lined up. No, you don't gotta say it now.
Okay, I'll say it next podcast. You keep doing your thing, okay?
How many? You can't keep saying do it next podcast and then not do it.
Right.
That's it though.
Yeah.
That's all.
That's
all I had to say.
He doesn't even understand who we are, right? Who are you talking to?
Don't freak me out like that.
Yeah. Okay. Next podcast.
Okay.
Oh, I'm right. I got a lot of good points for next podcast.
Okay.
Yeah. Not that the pregnancy wasn't a good point.
Oh, okay.
Not that we all don't care about the pregnancy, but you know.
Whew. Yeah. All right. We'll see you next time on Burning Boat Business.
Woo!